Let's learn the whole tone scales. Really, there are only two whole tone scales if you look at it this way. I think of my whole tone scales as, let's start in C. What is a whole tone scale? A whole tone scale is built on whole steps. So a whole step away from C is D. A whole step from D is E. A whole step from E is F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and then we have the octave on top. So this is only a 6-note scale. It's a symmetrical scale or symmetric scale. Symmetrical, symmetric. Each scale tone is a whole step apart, so they're all the same distance. It's all the same. So if we take a look at the scale and let's say we want to play a D whole tone scale, well, D whole tone scale starts on D, goes to E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, C, and D. Well, what if we want to learn the E whole tone scale? Same thing. E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, C, D, E, and so on and so forth. So really, I look at it this way. If we learn a C whole tone scale, don't we really know 6 scales? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like you've learned 6 scales for the price of 1. Now we know there's 12 tones, so if you want to learn the other 6, let's use D flat. So what's a whole step up from D flat? E flat. Whole step up is F, G, A, B, and then the octave D flat. Well, don't the same rules apply here? D flat to D flat whole tone scale. If I want to play E flat whole tone scale, it's the same exact notes. Whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step. What if I want to learn the F? Same thing. F, G, A, B, D flat, E flat, F. So once again, we've learned 6 scales here. If we learn C, we've learned 6 scales as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plus 6 equals 12. Boom, you've just learned all 12 whole tone scales by learning 2 scales. Pretty cool. That's how I like to think of it. So now, why do we even want to learn the whole tone scale? Well, there's this chord. For example, let's say C7 sharp 5. Okay? And we build that chord as a C, E, G sharp, B flat is the 7th. Here's the sharp 5. Here's the major third. Here's the root. And here's the flat 7. Well, take a look at the C whole tone scale. Doesn't that include the root, the major third, the sharp 5, and the dominant 7? Yeah. So if you see any dominant 7 sharp 5 chord, you can use the whole tone scale. Now remember, of course, jazz isn't about scales. It's about creating music. But if you're new to jazz theory and jazz harmony, you want to figure out, well, what about the notes in between the scale tones that you can play that are going to sound good? Try the whole tone scale. And we learn the whole tone scale because like the pentatonic scale, the whole tone scale has a certain sound or certain quality to it, and it lends itself to certain patterns that sound kind of cool. So start your learning your 2 whole tone scales and think of it that way. And then you will learn all 12 by learning 2 scales. I hope that makes matters simple rather than complicates the issue. I always like to simplify the process because I don't want to work that hard when I'm thinking about scales and harmony and theory. I'm just trying to play. And eventually you learn all of this theory and scales and you play all these patterns and whatnot, and then eventually you just forget everything and just play music. So have fun with those 2 scales. Let me know how it goes, and we'll catch you in the next video.